Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Flashbang Wallop, show 16 in our series. We're getting more views and more viewers and more subscriptions, which is great. So please hit the subscription if you enjoy the show and drop a comment. We love to hear the comments and tell us how we're doing. So tonight we have Ian and Dammo with us. Unfortunately, Neil can't make it. He's off filming somewhere, I believe. He's tied up with his various sports activities. So let's go to, hi, Ian. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I've not long come back from the Isle of Wight for October half term, and that was very good. Lots of camera time.
Great, great. Do your kids take an interest in the photography, Ian?
Not at all. No.
Right. And Damo, good evening, Damo. How are you?
Very good, very good. And yes, just plodding along as usually and having good fun. Yeah, good.
The other interesting thing this month was Damo. You not only get your photographs on the BBC for the Weather Watch, you're actually now part of the Weather Watch. We had a little show about you. Do you want to tell us about this?
Yes, we they've done 10 years of the weather watches, so they picked six weather watchers around the region, and I was selected on the last day for the 10 years, and they featured me in the local park, and then I had a selection of my pictures and got interviewed, and it was yes, it was good. It was just all the pictures were done with the iPhone. All my weather watcher pictures are just done with the iPhone. It's a bit of fun, but I was saying on that you can put the clip up there. It's about a minute. It's the dog is not interested. It's sniffing around, but it was a part of the pictures. But no, it was yeah. Your 60 seconds of fame, and then life gets back to normal.
That
Ian.
way, do we have to now pay a fee for you to come on to Flashbang Wallop? Are you,
No, no, no.
famous?
It's just persistence. I mean, it's interesting. Somebody who's just emailed me now saying, "Oh, you've influenced me. I'm going to start putting the pictures up, but I've not had any luck so far." So I say, "Well, you won't get any luck straight away. You just got to keep going,
Do you,
plugging away."
do you know how many submissions they get a day?
There's a
Do you have any
phenomenal,
idea?
it's a
Yeah,
phenomenal number. They have it
yeah.
somewhere on their website, and
Right.
I've noticed lots of people do. I mean, I reckon my hit rate, but it's not that I'm not trying, but I mean, I've been there, worn the t-shirt, but I would imagine it's about 1 in 20, 1 in 30 pictures actually get selected.
Mm.
And you've got to think differently. You've got to have something that's a bit different, shows the weather, and is relevant to the whole thing. And that's the challenge now, really, because there's some really good picture takers out there. So I enjoy doing it, and it's a bit of fun. And then you move once you get your picture selected, you move on to the next one and do that. No, no,
Okay.
no special technique. I just like your sunrises, Ian. All you have to do is keep putting your sunrises into the local BBC or ITV stations, and you've got to have a little bit of a hard skin to it, because they'll you probably won't get selected for a while, and then suddenly one gets selected.
Mhm.
No rhyme or reason why that one, rather than another one that you thought was brilliant, gets selected. Just there at the right time. The routine of picking the app up and posting your picture when you get back
Is there
home.
an app or is it just a website? Is there an
It's the
app?
website. It's a website, but
Oh,
I
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
think
si- you,
Yeah.
s-
I
you
did.
sign in, don't you? You
Yeah.
register.
Yeah. Yeah. I did submit one the other day, actually, because I was walking Ruby, the dog.
yeah.
I stepped out of the house and I was like, oh, amazing rainbow and sky. But it didn't get picked. So,
And you just got to,
never mind.
the trick is just keep putting them out. I do
Mm.
one a day. Some people post about 6 or 7 a day. They're
Mm.
desperate to get up there.
Mm.
But just one a day and then forget about it. Another one the other day and forget about it. And before you know where you are, one
How do
will
you
be.
know when they've come up, Damo? Because you can't be watching the
You,
TV all
you,
the
you
time.
get a little editor's pick that says it's been selected,
Right.
but you don't know where it's been used. Some
Where
of
it's
them,
being shown. Mm.
yeah, some
Right.
of them will get shown um,
On your local news, and
on
some
the
might
local
get national.
news, and you'll
Mm.
get credit. Some you don't even get credit. There'll be a backdrop to something, and
Mm.
they've not
Yeah.
used your credit.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
get a bit fed up because you can't tell people that it's your
No.
picture.
No. So what we're going to do, Damo, is we're going to show up the clip here.
My name is Damien Walmsley, known as Dammo on Weather Watches, and I've been doing it for really since it first started. I just enjoy it. It's always the changing pattern of the weather. You go out on a walk, I take my dog out for a walk, and you'll see so many lovely patterns. It's always great just to get a picture and a bit of fun to post it up on the BBC website and see if it gets published. And when it does, it's always nice to get the feedback from people as well. It's catching the weather, but also making the picture look interesting, putting a story with it, so people can feel that they're in that place when you take that picture. The park here is one of my favourite places, but there's so many. Everywhere, if you catch the sun right, if you catch the light right, there's a weather photograph picture anywhere, and one that you can be proud of.
And talk about people following your camera stuff. I mean, all daughters, but my oldest daughter particularly really enjoys taking pictures of the phone and doing stuff. So she competes a bit with the phone photography.
Yeah, my daughter is quite interested in it. She wants to take it further, going to university to do photography, but other things got in the way and she didn't do that. But she's got a great eye. She's got a really good eye for a great photograph. And I gave her my old 20D that I had, and she's going great guns with it. So she enjoys it as well. She's just got a new iPhone 17. Jammy little cow. Anyway, so she's just got that. So she's starting to take some photographs with that. So I might get her to do a little review and a little piece that we can maybe show up on the show
Good, yeah.
next month. And Dammo, we were talking about that last month. You've got your iPhone now?
Yes, I have. I'm very happy with it. It's quite a jump up after 2 years. I was rather looking forward to the little clicks and that photographic experience that Ian was talking about a few shows back. But other than that, it's been good. Been very good. I'm just still getting used to it and some of the funny things it does when I play around with it.
I think what might be nice would be to get you to try and do some comparisons. So take the same shots, both on your camera and on your iPhone, and actually we'll compare them and see, one, how easy it is to do that, and whether or not there's a big difference in the facilities.
It's not an easy thing for that for me, because I pick up the phone and I pick up the camera to do different things, really. I never think of either one doing the same thing, really.
Yeah.
Well, will be interesting. I mean, on my Facebook page, one of the pictures we have, I still had someone from a camera club contact me and said, Damien, I love that shot you did. What camera and what lens did you use? I had to say I used an iPhone Pro, It's the composition probably that you need to look at.
Yeah.
Now, strangely, that actually leads into one of the items we wanted to discuss tonight, about the Photographer of the Year show. Let me get this right. It was the Wildlife Photographer of the Year you wanted to talk about. But there's also a segue into the iPhone photo. So do you want to tell us about that?
Right. Well, every year I really enjoy the Wildlife Photographer of the Year show when it comes around the West Midlands. I don't know if it comes around your area, but it comes. Last year it was in Birmingham. The year before that was in Coventry, and now it's going to be in Wolverhampton. And I really enjoy going to see it. And I'm not a great wildlife photographer because I just don't have the patience or the skill adapt for it. I mean, I do fancy myself as a wildlife photographer, but there's a case of fancying that you're good at wildlife photography and actually taking the photograph at wildlife photography. But I do really enjoy it, and I quite enjoy the picture that won it. I think it's I've not got the thing of it. It's this coyote.
Hyena, isn't it?
It's a hyena, is it? Yes, and it's set out in a wonderful backdrop with it, which I thought was really, really good. As I was, I digressing. The bird photography of the year came under a lot of criticism, but I don't know if you saw the bird photography of the year. I haven't put a link to that, but there was a bird flying across the eclipse of the sun, and someone said it really was the eclipse of the sun that was the big thing, not the bird flying across. And I think wildlife photographer is always the better thing because it gives you some really good real life situations.
Oh, that's really interesting you say that, because if you take the hyena shot, the hyena is maybe 10% of the image. So
yes.
But it is very clearly a wildlife shot. But someone could make the same argument for that shot, that it's not a wildlife shot. So I know the shot you're talking about. I mean, it's phenomenal to get the eclipse and get a bird flying across it. Just phenomenal. I mean, yeah, I think that's just a bit of sour grapes, isn't it? To be honest.
Well, it is. I've come across it myself. Early on, I think back in 2018, I won a competition of the canals, and I'd taken a reflection of a puddle, and the canal community, some of the canal community told me off that it wasn't really the canal, it was a puddle that I took the picture of. The canal was right next to the puddle, but hey.
Just while we're on the subject of the wildlife one, I mean, I think my favourite is the beetle. There's an excavator in the background that's been, doing some logging, and then there's this beetle looking on. And before you even, for me, I didn't need to read the description or the image title, which is after the destruction, because you don't need that, because it is a storytelling image without the text. And I think that's what makes it so successful. The beetle kind of looking on, thinking, well, this thing's here destroying my home. That's what I kind of took from it. I think it's a cracking shot.
I would recommend everyone to go and see the Wildlife Photographer of the Year, just because some of the shots technically and the lens that people have gone to are just phenomenal. But there's one or two shots there and you think, my goodness, when you read the description, serendipity, they were there at the right time, at the right place, and took the picture. And so there's a chance for everybody to be in that exhibition. So that's what I like about it.
I find it hard to believe that people will complain about, because if you've ever tried to track any animal to get it into shots, certainly birds, to actually track it and catch it at the right moment with the eclipse, I think that's a fairly decent effort to get that right, let alone whether
the other scrutiny it came under was people were going, oh, it must be AI.
Yeah.
And because that's the other world we live in.
Photoshopped or whatever. This is the problem. But
the second place picture has been withdrawn, and there's no explanation why it's been withdrawn. Interesting. It's the birds in flight. It's the birds in flight section. I was concentrating on the wildlife photographer, but it was just that we just digress into the bird photography as well.
Talking of birds, though, if you scroll down on the article that you shared, have you seen the egret chasing the fish, which has got the fish in its mouth? I mean, that's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. But going back to what you were saying about visiting it, Dammo, it's definitely. I did it. It was years ago now. On the way to the photography show, we stopped at Bristol because they had an exhibition. And for me, to see images in print is awesome, and is much better than seeing them on screen. So if you can get to any of the exhibitions, I thoroughly recommend it. It's definitely worth doing.
I would recommend as well. It is really worth it. They're just very, very well done, and the layout and whoever's curated the pictures and put them out, there's a lot of thought to them. It's very clever, very clever. But Martin, you alluded to the fact that, as an intro to the next bit, is that another competition, and I'm not quite sure, I just found it from one of the news items. Someone had used it was a weather photographer of the year, or one of the weather photography competitions, and someone had used not an iPhone but used a mobile phone to take a picture of fishermen in some very dire conditions, and this strap line at the top was I keep saying iPhone, but the mobile phone has come of age. It's just as good as a camera and a lens.
I think that is the ongoing debate, that you've got to admit the camera phones are incredibly good now. They've come a long way from first camera phone I had. It was a Casio 100. It could store 10 pictures. They were 1.1 megabyte pictures, and they were more grainy than a salt cellar. And that camera cost me £500. I thought it'd be good for doing architectural work. And here we are now. You carry around a phone in your pocket, which is incredibly proficient at taking photographs in some of the really most challenging conditions you can take. Some of the night shots that they achieve, I can't get anywhere near with my great big flashy camera. So I think it's still a bit of snobbery. People sort of saying, "Oh no, it's not a proper camera." But we're in a modern world now. It's the 21st century, and I think people need to really get on board with that. Going back to what you said about the the Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition. It's really strange. A year ago, we were on holiday in Australia, and I went and saw that show in the Maritime Museum in Darwin Harbour in Sydney, which was really strange to think back. That was a year ago. So excellent. So, yeah, if you get a chance to go and see it, it's great. And I totally agree with what you say, Ian. When you see these pictures blown up to almost like room size, when they're on a wall, it's so impressive. Good lighting. It just looks amazing. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so what we'd like to do actually is have a look at some of the iPhone photos. Dammo, you've been out having a few walks and photographs. So let's show up a couple here. Maybe you can just talk us through them.
Well, I put 8 out there. The first one was just testing the zoom. That was just looking at what was it? The optical quality, not what they call it, optical quality zoom, and that's a local lake in Solihull, and just shows that you've got wall-to-wall focusing, and a really quite a nice focus. That I mean, there's nothing spectacular about the scene other than just showing that I used the zoom for the first time. The next one is a National Trust property in Northamptonshire, and I was quite impressed with the normal picture, that it got everything nicely. It's not oversaturating the colors, which is nice, and that's Canon Ashby. But the one that I really liked is, and the why I always like the iPhone, is you can get so low with the lens down to something like a water of a puddle, and quite a vibrant picture of a street scene in Birmingham.
Dammo, you're quite good at these reflections. I think you should do some more.
I quite enjoy this. It's picking the puddle, and this almost, I think the car disorientates you because it's right in your face, and then you're pulled then into the on the left. It's a mess, Birmingham. On the left, on the right, there's traffic jams and stuff, but it focuses you down into the rotunda. So I quite like that one. And then a couple of night ones. So that's a local station showing how it's controlling artificial light quite nicely, really. And this one is with a tripod, the fireworks, and I was quite impressed taking pictures of the fireworks. The difficulty was making sure people weren't cluttering the picture, and making sure that I got the tripod stationary, because I'd used a single poles one, but I was quite the low light.
How was you triggering that then on the tripod? Was you just using like a timer function, or was you using
I was using the timer function on it, because as soon as as you know, on an iPhone, as soon as you stabilize it, it then allows you to get into the night mode, and allows you into certain functions. So
have you got an Apple Watch?
Yes, I've got an Apple Watch.
Have you tried that?
What?
You can trigger you can do the shutter on your watch, which is quite useful.
I haven't tried it, but I will do now.
To save you waiting for the 10-second timer or whatever, you can just literally press your watch, and you're not touching the phone then.
Well, I'll have a try that. Yeah, I've never thought of that. The next one's an attempt at street photography, and it's a so-so, but it's just showing a street photography shot, and then the macro. And I was quite impressed with the leaf macro, that I got quite tight to the leaf and got quite a nice pattern out of it, but you've always liked the macro, Ian. I know and then the leaf itself, and I thought there was quite good colors it got out of it. That didn't handle the reflections very well, but it was still very nice. And all in all, has it made a difference to what I had before? It's difficult to say. The zoom is better. I've gone for a smaller version of the iPhone, not the Max. My daughter's got the Max, and it's a heavy, chunky thing. I've got the Pro, but I always feel with the iPhone, it's taking the picture it wants to take. It's still very difficult to get your own control over the iPhone unless you tell it to do certain things, especially on focusing.
Yeah,
but that's just me, maybe, or inexperience.
No, they're excellent. As I said, it'd be interesting to try and do the same shots with a camera and see how that would work. So
I think
do that.
What these images show though is the diversity the iPhone gives you now. Like you can do from macro, wide angle, zoom, nighttime, all just without any real, experience thinking about it. I don't mean that in a negative way, but anyone can pick up the iPhone and try and take a picture of fireworks, which normally, 10 years ago required, tripod, remote, setting it up, and a bit of know-how of how to do it. And you don't need it now.
Yeah. Yeah, number of times that you said, okay, it's 4 seconds for the firework, 1, 2, 3, 4. You press the button, and then 5, 6, and the firework goes off, and you've missed it. I got hundreds of black pictures with a little line up the middle where the firework was going and nothing else. So yeah. Okay, no, excellent. There's some great shots there.
Thank you. It is certainly a good fun. And I treat it with respect, and I realize sometimes I get a little bit too, I call them chocolatey box. They're just a little bit too good to be true, and I wish I could dampen down sometimes the saturation or dampen down the vibrancy of it. But you can do that when you get into the post setting.
Yeah, no, very interesting. So as you remember, some of our viewers, I was fortunate enough to win a camera competition a few months ago, and I bought myself a Canon R6. Now, of course, as always, as soon as you buy something, next minute out comes the replacement. So Ian, you've got some views on the new Canon R6 Mark III, I believe.
Yeah, so Canon, I mean, people are already saying this might be the camera of the year. In terms of releases, I mean, it is a very impressive piece of kit. But in terms of sort of upgrade, it's not huge. Megapixels is a big one. It's gone up to 32.5 megapixels. It's got the same frames per second as previous. It's got an expanded buffer for the number of shots that it can do, 150 raw images, that is very impressive. Can do the video side. I don't fully get, because I don't do video, but it does 7K open gate. Now does 8.5 stops of in body stabilization. But I just think it's boring. I'm just getting bored. All Canon are doing is, here's the R1 or the R3, which is phenomenal, and all they do is trickle down some of that technology into the other models. None of these cameras are doing anything different. There's no Fuji X1/2 here.
That's true.
You've got to give Fuji credit for doing something different, and Canon don't do anything different. They have a formula, and they just stick to it. And the other thing that really annoys me, and okay, credit to Canon. Apparently, this is the same price as what the original R6 was when that was released. So there hasn't been a huge inflation increase, which fair play to Canon, because everything else in the world has gone up, hasn't it? Ridiculously. But Petapixel, in their review, and it's not Petapixel's fault, I'm not going to go Petapixel. I do believe that Canon see it the same way, but Petapixel kept referring it to as this camera's aimed at the enthusiastic market. So not professionals, so people that are just enthusiastic about photography, much like us. £2,800. Who can go out, as a hobby and realistically afford that as a reasonable price for a camera? I just don't get it.
And you've got to buy the lenses on top of that as well, Ian.
Yeah,
the lenses are very expensive.
I just think Canon, these manufacturers are not, we've just spoken about the iPhone, and I think it's really difficult to get into photography. If you want to get into photography, and I see it all the time at camera clubs, people come along for a couple of weeks, they've got a basic camera, and then I think they get overwhelmed. I think they'll see some major images being projected or printed, and then they inquire, well, how did you do that? And then they realise the gear and the time that was involved into getting it, and then these people just disappear. They don't cut. They're no longer coming, because I think they realise, well, hang on a minute, this photography is a bit out of my depth. So I just get a bit annoyed that there's always this focus on more megapixels, more frames per second, and no one's actually stepping back and going, actually, how can we need that stepping point from iPhone into proper photography. We need a product that gets you into photography in a serious way, because people will be watching the show and go, oh, you could buy a Canon R50 or something, one of their entry level, but there's always so many compromises, yeah, there you go, there's my rant. Great camera, but it's nothing, it's boring, it's nothing new, it's just Canon just going for the specs all the time.
So doesn't that go all the way back, Ian, to when I started in photography? The camera I wanted was a Canon AE1. It was the bee's knees of the cameras at that time, and it's what I had. I had a second hand. It was called a Topcon camera. My uncle had sent it me from Japan, and it very basic SLR. So the Canon AE1 was on my wish list. Of course, when I got that, which was great, and I started buying some other bits and pieces, and I got some lenses, then the next one was the Canon A1. And then from that, it was the T90. And then you just keep moving up the ladder, don't you? I was talking to a young lad over the weekend, Preston. He's just got into some photography, wants to do a bit more. And I was saying to him, go and buy a good second-hand basic camera. Learn the ropes, learn the tricks, learn the techniques before you start investing huge amounts of money. And again, told him, if you're going to put the money in, buy lenses. That's where your money should go. Anybody using good lenses can produce good photographs if you learn the basic techniques. But yeah, I can see the point, what you're saying, Ian. Of course, from Canon's point of view, they're looking at trying to pick up people like myself who maybe had the old R6 or a D6 or something like that, who are stepping up to the next stage. So I can't go and spend £5,500, £6,000, £8,000 on an R1. So that kind of level, if you think about it, the iPhone fully kitted is £1,700. If you buy one with a 2 terabyte drive and all the bits on it, you're talking nearly £1,800 for a phone. So it's £2,500 for a pretty decent camera. That much of a stretch?
I think it is, personally. I mean, and I use my camera nearly every week, and I'm still SLR because I look at mirrorless, and for me to get into the mirrorless market, and do the things that I want to be able to do in terms of low light photography, the frame rates, tracking subjects and stuff. I am at this kind of level, and for me, it's too much money, I think. And again, I did, when I went to the Wales and West show, I pushed the Canon rep a little bit on the stand. I said, why are Canon not making just a stills camera? Oh, well, it's the video stuff that is the reason why you've got the advancements in the still photography. Okay, I get that. And their argument is it's not going to make the camera any cheaper if you take the video stuff out. And I kind of understand that from a technological standpoint, because the sensor's already there. The CPU's already there, so the software's already there. So to switch on video, it's not a physical thing to put in the camera. But I still think it raises the ticket price by going, this can do 7K. It enables them to charge that bit more. So I'd really love Canon just to do something different. Just give me a stills camera.
and it's interesting because I thought the R5 was the one that was set up to do video work, and the R6 was just to do stills work. Now the R6 III is introducing video stuff, and that's what you're paying your money for, to get the video extra. And so I'm going to start looking at the secondhand market and look at the secondhand market, and because I've got a lot of Canon lenses and I can't like using my Canon lenses, so I think I'm rather hoping the secondhand market. Although some people are saying that it's not such a big upgrade, that many R6 Mark II people may not bother upgrading.
Yeah. No, I
might not have made such a good marketing thing to go with.
Well, to be fair to Canon, though, I don't think this camera's aimed at people that are on an R6 Mark II, are they? It's a bit like the iPhone. It's like, you were on the 15. The 16 wasn't for you. The 17 maybe was for you. Yeah. You have to sort of kind of skip an iteration, and I think that's the same for Canon users.
Yeah. But when I got my R6, the thing I did buy was the adapter for it. And the adapter I bought also had the inbuilt ND filter on it. So that enables me to use all my old Canon glass with the new body, and it works out reasonably well for me. But even that was about £300 just for the adapter. That was not cheap in itself. So But then it meant all of the half dozen lenses I've got are not now redundant. I can still use them. So it's a tricky point. And I suppose Canon will say they're also up against other manufacturers, the other cameraman, they've got to compete with them. And they also have to compete with the phones. It can't be easy for a Canon executive to say, oh, by the way, our phone is almost as good as, our camera is almost as a phone. It's terrible.
They couldn't release this and go, oh, it doesn't do video, because it will get directly compared to the Z6 Mark III, which is basically at the same level, and that obviously that does video. So that it is a competitive market. But again, these manufacturers. But there's nothing. Why can't Canon release this and still have a different product? I don't know what that product is, but Fuji. That's why everyone sort of laughs at the Fuji X1/2, but I really do admire Fuji for doing something different.
But then Fuji don't really take on the DSLR market in the same way as Canon and Nikon do they? Do they have?
They've got the full what do they call it? The X100? No, not the X100. That's what you've got. They do a medium format one, don't they?
GR,
like
the GR
$6,000 or whatever it is. So they do.
Yeah. Is it just a GR100 or something like that? That's
something, yeah.
That's getting very good reviews as well. People say they love it.
I think there's a lot of brand loyalty as well. I think as we've mentioned, once you've invested, several £1,000 in lenses, unless you can easily adapt your Canon lenses to a Nikon, for example, or a Fuji or a Pentax or a Panasonic, you have to you're bound, aren't you, to the same manufacturers to stay with it. So, interesting choice. The other thing we were going to discuss tonight was Ian's been using what they call it,
Nissi
filter kit, which you bought a while ago, but you've had some joy and photographs. You're going to show us a selection now of what you took, and can you let us know what kind of filters you were using to give us an idea?
Yeah, so ironically, I've just been ranting about how much cameras are, and then I'm going to suggest a filter kit that's like 360 quid. But this is kind of my point. Like, photography is not cheap, and this is why I get so frustrated with the way things are priced. So I picked it up last year at the Wales and West Photography Show after seeing Jack Lodge rave about them, and I've dabbled with filters in the past, but I've always gone down like the cheaper road, and then you get a horrible color cast, and so I thought, no, I'm going to invest properly. And then we had the family holiday to the Isle of Wight. So I didn't, not for every shot, I haven't used the filters, but the first one, Freshwater Bay, haven't used the filters on that one. That was just the first day we got there. Beautiful bay, that is. Just got down low on that one. The second shot was that was using the filters, probably polarizer and 3-stop or 6-stop. Can't remember the length for the exposure, but it would have been over sort of 30 seconds, just to try and smooth the water out. So that was using the filters. Then we've got Alum Bay with no filters, just like the thistles coming up. And then you can't go to the Isle of Wight and not see the needles, needles with no filters. And then Colwell Bay, me getting a little bit sort of arty. I think just a polarizer on this one, so it's a wave coming in, but I've sort of dragged the exposure a little bit just to try and get a bit of sense of movement. Then Ventnor, no filters to that one. And then we went to a new place for us, which was Borthwood, National Trust Woodland. That was really nice. No filters on that one, but I just like the light on that one. And then the last one, Totland Bay. Again, this would have been polarizer and 6-stop, I think. So quite a long exposure. Really interesting seeing this pier, because we went 11 years ago when my daughter was a toddler, and that pier was like completely like falling down. It was a right wreck. The pier looks a lot better, but I don't know why they've built that monstrosity on the end of it. A modern building that looks, to me, it just looks really out of place.
Did you go along the pier at all? Or is it open to the public?
Here's the interesting. Here's the rest of the story. So, the building has never been finished on the end, and it's been abandoned. It was supposed to be some fancy restaurant, and boats were going to be able to moor up there and you'll be able to go to the restaurant. On the other end, which is not in the photograph, is a cafe, all part of the same sort of franchise, if you like. That's closed and has been for over a year because the underfloor heating flooded or something, and it's been closed ever since. And now the whole site's up for sale for $4 million. So, yeah, real shame. Because I just, that building at the end, I just think it's for a nice old, like Victorian pier or whatever state. I think it's 1880s odd. It's really old. And they stuck a horrible modern looking building on the end. I think it's just really out of keeping.
And where in the Isle of Wight is that? Which town is it?
Tottenham Bay. So it's not far from Yarmouth. It's actually between the Needles and Yarmouth on the sort of top west side of the island. But yeah, real. In fact, the Needles would be, if you look through the pier, you can see the headland point.
Okay.
The Needles is literally that round that corner there.
Right.
So yeah.
I've been to the Isle of Wight for a long time. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we love it there.
Those filters you must have made things much easier.
Yeah, I mean, they're magnetic. So you put an adapter on your front of your lens and just keep it on, and they give you a metal magnetic lens cap to put on, and you can twist it into a lock-in position so it can't just fall off. And then the filters, the polarizer, you just slap it on the front magnetically, and then you've got varying degrees of ND filters. The only downside I found with these is, but it's no different to square filters, is you can't have a lens hood on. So like I was shooting yesterday at sunrise, if you're at a certain angle to the sun, then you do get flare and a loss of contrast. Now normally what I would do is just shield with my hand or go and stand round and block the light onto the front of the camera. But yesterday the sea wall was just here and there's no way I could get round to block the light going into the camera. So that's the only downside. I have emailed Nissi and said, can you not just do a magnetic lens hood?
Yeah. Or move the seawall.
Yeah, or move the seawall. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. So we were talking last show about potential Christmas presents. So is this one of your items for a Christmas present?
It is. Yeah, it's an expensive one. Yeah, you might have to buy it for yourself.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Talking of which, we did have a look at some other Christmas presents, maybe for a photographer in your life that you might want to cheer up. Damien, have you got something you're going to recommend?
I'm just going to go backtrack. I'm going to start looking the second-hand market, and I'm not going to be able to win a competition like you, Martin. But I fancy the R6 Mark II, even in spite of being a little bit samey to what I've got before. But I'd probably go and look in the second-hand market and see what there is, and but that's again trying to work out what's a good price you get for your old stuff and what good price you get for the. I mean, you've got the London Camera Exchange, and then you've got the other one. Is it MPB?
MPB, yeah.
And I don't know what Wex do some good second-hand stuff
as well.
Yeah.
So I might take that for Christmas. I think buying new may be not the way to go.
Yeah. No, I want to get a 50mm standard lens but I want to get a mirrorless one. That's the one.
So how much is that one in the Canon?
Yeah. So I might treat myself.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that because they released a new lens, didn't they? Sorry, alongside the R6. So that's a 45mm 1.2. It's a very fast lens, not quite 50mm, but obviously 45, and it's not massively expensive. I'm just trying to find it now.
Yeah.
479.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still a lot of money, but as far as some of the lenses that we've spoken about, so that's 45mm 1.2. I mean, that is seriously fast. I bet that looks like a nice little lens.
Okay. Well, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I was having a look for some ideas for some Christmas presents. So the first one I'm going to show up here is Lego figures. They do this really natty little photographer. You can see here, they're really charming looking.
He looks quite cool.
It does,
Yeah.
right little mini figure. So that's a nice little stocking filler. The other one I'm going to show here was chocolates. Chocolates in the shape of little SLRs. You can buy that. Again, show you up the links here you can follow. The third one was, I thought was a bit more. They're camera straps, and you can get them
Oh yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
identified, so you can actually have people's names or messages, or instead of just saying got a Canon R6 around my neck, you could actually put your own name on it. The other one, again, which I thought was a lot of fun, you might end up picking up incorrectly, is a mug in the shape
I've got one of these. I should have dug it out.
Have you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think you've got your 105 lens with you, and all of a sudden you haven't. You've got a cup of cold, which isn't going to help with your photographs.
They're good for taking photographs of pouring coffee into it and people going, "Wow, what you're doing," sort of thing.
Well, and the last one was a camera lens cleaning kit, which I bought a couple of myself a while ago, which had all the different little bits of lens cleaners in it. You get the various. The other thing which you've got to be so careful of is there's a little sucker for cleaning dust off your sensor, which you do very carefully. That's a big risk. You start plodding around in there with a poker, or I've seen someone at a wetted end of a handkerchief trying to off the end of the sensor, and then wonder why they next going to have to go out and spend £2,500 on a new camera.
No, there's only one way to do your sensor anyway.
Yeah.
Run it under the tap.
Yeah, or Coca-Cola, as our friend Neil likes to do.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that's missing is a sock for your camera, a camera sock.
Yeah. A camera sock.
Yeah.
I should have. I'll share the picture. Sorry, I'm bringing this one late to the party, but I saw this T-shirt earlier. It says, it's got a picture of a camera. It says, "Real cameras don't text."
Yeah, there's I have got one. I was when I was doing some research on this, I did find one which was all camera related and all very, very funny. It was one was the f-stop stops here. And like that, which was very clever. So I'll throw this open to our viewers as well. If you've got if you've seen any great little presents that might be good for a photographer, why don't you send them in, put them in the comments. We'll have a look at them, and we'll treat ourselves to some presents for Christmas. Okay, talking and moving on towards, we'll be doing our show next month, our December show. So we'll have some hope to have some special guests on that to bring some new light to some subjects. We'll see how we can get unfortunately getting the timing with all these people is trying to get them involved. So we've got 2 or 3 guests all lined up. It's just getting them at the right time for our show recording so we can bring them on board. Again, I'd like to ask if you have any questions you'd like us to look at, any subjects, please send them through. Please put them in the comments. We'd be delighted to help out where we can. So let's move on to next month. Ian, what's your plans? Anything in the lineup for photography wise?
No, I haven't got anything, unfortunately. I've got nothing. I mean, there's always stuff on my list, and I've really sort of enjoyed my sunrises again. There was a phase when I went through sunrises and sunsets and did, them like every night. So yeah, and now I've got the filter kit. I'm getting more into that again. So I've made a list of some places that I want to achieve over the winter based on, certain places you only get a certain window of where the sun's going to sort of be coming up, between the headlands and stuff down in Cornwall. So I've got a list that I'm going to try work through. So yeah, I'm always working on something, but nothing specific.
Yes, you've shown us here one. Let me show this one up, Ian. That was taken, was that yesterday, you said?
Yesterday, well, that was a phone shot, that one.
Yeah, so it looks like
Falmouth.
Yeah. Dammo, what's your plans for the next few weeks?
I think I might do some Christmas lights. I must get down to some Christmas lights and see how I get on with those. And always good fun.
Yeah, we went
by too many drunken people around the place.
Yeah, we went to Ashridge last year for their light walk, and it was really, really interesting, really fascinating. Some lovely light displays and shows. And a couple of glasses of mulled wine went down quite well. It was quite chilly, so we'll look out for that as well. Okay, so Ian, where can people get hold of you?
Yeah, Ian Lewis Photography on Instagram.
Okay, and Dammo?
On Instagrams, I can start with at Dammo.
So my name's Martin Kelly. You can get hold of me at martinkelly.com. And if you want to send any information to Flashbang Wallop, there's a link here at the bottom of the screen. Please drop an email to us with any photographs that you'd like to send in and submit to us. We'll be back next month with hopefully Neil back with us and possibly a guest or two as well. So we look forward to seeing you all then. So it's good night from me and it's good night from the lads.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.